Hey there. If you're a subscriber and you're returning, it's good to share space with you again. And if you're new here and just wanting to see what this is all about, welcome. I hope you stay a while and get whatever you need and leave the rest. Wherever you land, welcome to Unconventional Counseling. I'm Ada Ad Astra, and today we're going to do a general tarot card reading to just check in on you all because times are a-changin'. And I know that a lot is happening for me personally, so I can only imagine all that's happening for you. If you're curious about some of the things that have been happening for me, you can check out the last video I put up called Mercury Retrograde, coming for that ass. Just so you know that you're in community here. On this healing journey and this ascension journey, there is a very level playing field. Everyone can get it. Spirit and our higher selves and our inner children and our shadows will make sure that all parts of us are known to us and through us for the continued healing of ourselves and of the collective. All right, so let's get into what this is like for you. While I shuffle, I'll tell you about some of the upcoming astrology as well. So on Tuesday, we have the new moon in Scorpio. And the sun and moon will be conjunct at 2 degrees that day. I'd encourage you to take a look at where you have placements in Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius, as these signs and planetary placements will be supercharged with this new moon energy because, drum roll please, it's an eclipse. So if the veil has already felt thin for you, and things have already been challenging with the recent Mercury retrograde, get ready for some added pressure to be applied, just for an eventual breakthrough to be produced. Everything does happen for a reason. It's not just for us to feel horrible about ourselves. Scorpio is an energy that's all about bringing the hidden things to the surface, allowing us to connect with what is underneath and behind our motivations and intentions for ourselves and for others. And I consider Scorpio to be the detective of the zodiac, trying to disrupt intergenerational cycles of abandonment, of lack, of loneliness. And often we find that pain or hurt is at the core of much of what we do or much of what we run from. So whether we're acting from fear, self-preservation, self-destruction, or self-sacrifice, oftentimes if we look closely enough, we can find that at the root, there is a past pain that is playing out in our current reality. And therefore, there's an opportunity for us to go deeper within and to assess ourselves with more clarity, more honesty, and more compassion. The wonderful thing about Scorpio energy is that it brings us to the depths, the shadows, and all the dark spaces and places that reside within. And then we're faced with a crossroads for either to keep enacting a sense of victimhood, shame, or self-hatred, or to choose a new way, to choose a space of empowerment, of self-acceptance, and greater depths of self-love. Remember, our fears that arise during this time are much like a shadow because of the brightness of the sun. I'm like Look at that, full moon in Scorpio. It's time to release negativity. I'm gonna do two mini readings for the collective here. It's time to release negativity. I almost feel like just starting the reading at this point. I'm very curious about what the rest of the reading will produce. But let me just say that remember that the fears that arise during this time are much like a shadow. You know, because of the brightness of the sun, the shadow of a tree can be small or it can be very large, depending on what time of day and what season you look at it. And if we only look at the shadow, if we take the shadow to be our reality and we never look up at the tree, we will continuously misperceive and misconstrue how large the original tree actually is. Our fears work so much like shadows, and Scorpio energy tends to remind us to just look at the tree, to just face the monsters or the dark places within, so we can see they're actually not as big and bad and scary as we feared. All right, let's see what all is in your reading for this first pile. 5 of Pentacles, 2 of Swords, 7 of Wands. All right. So it's time to release a sense of negativity around this perception and belief that you, viewer, will always be left. You will always be alone. You will always be abandoned. That is the only reality for you. It's time to release this perception. It hasn't served you thus far. There have been so many situations and places and people with whom you felt so alone with. But then maybe when boundaries change or when people need to move in different directions than you, it triggers this in you. It triggers this fear that you will be alone again. And it can be paralyzing. Fear can be very paralyzing. Something that I would encourage you to do is to take a break, to take space from the dynamic, from the situation, from the person, from the place, to the extent that you can, right? Sometimes it's not as possible as other times. And just to allow yourself to clear your head, because what it ends up producing for you is this indecisiveness. You're not sure how to move. Maybe you start doubting yourself, and then maybe you want to start fighting everybody around you because you're so afraid of being left, and maybe at this time in your life it's producing an anger within, because there is a part of you that believes you don't deserve to be left. And that's a beautiful thing to know that you don't deserve to be left. And remember, there are shadows at play here. You might not actually have to fight anyone. We have the 3 of Knives, the Ace of Baskets, and we have Ancestors. So what I'm also perceiving is that there's an intergenerational cycle at play around abandonment. So when you're in this space of deep pain and you feel so alone and it feels like nobody understands, if you're close to bio family, this is the time to reach out to them and ask them if they've experienced something like this in their romantic relationships or in their work environments, in their friendships before. If you're not as close to bio family, and I'm like, I get it, I really get it. There's a lot of stuff that can happen within families. I would encourage you to check in with your guides, with your ancestors. I would encourage you to check in with chosen family or with really good friends, people who feel like they are family to you. It might help you feel less alone to seek out the stories and experiences of people, whether you know them, whether they're authors, whether they're content creators, but to seek out the stories and the experiences of people who have felt this way, just like you, and to kind of see some aspects of their journey, or to see where they sit with this fear of abandonment and of pain now, and of anger now. Let's pull your affirmation cards. Shift your focus off the problems to the solutions. You have all you need. Return to self. Come home to you. Give to yourself. Be your own first priority. It's time to fall in love with you. Yes, 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 and yes. It's a really amazing thing. This is something that I'm learning right now, and I'm calling it being selfish with my energy. This is the first time in my life that I've been practicing being selfish with my energy, meaning that I choose when and with whom and how I show up. It's brand new. So that too may support you if this maybe is the first time that you feel like you get to be your own first priority, or you're feeling any sort of backlash from other people by choosing yourself. Know that it's okay to come home to you, especially with all that you're contending with. And dance, sing, and play. The universe works fast when you're just having fun. I'll show you that. Ooh, I didn't pray before I did this reading, so let me pray now. Divine alchemists, guides, guardian angels, ancestors for our highest good, for the collective's highest good, for every viewer that is watching's highest good. We invite you in at this time, and we thank you so much for your willingness to allow for this message to come through so clearly, so beneficently, so sweetly, and yet so firmly. I thank you for using me as the channel for this message, and I ask that this message has been clear, concise, empowering, uplifting, and encouraging to whomever needs to hear it, whomever views it, whomever watches it, whomever revisits it, whomever shares it. I ask that all that was needed to say, even if it was just a phrase, has been said. Anything that someone needed to hear, that it is here, if this message is for them, and that people get to use their discernment and they practice using their discernment around what is for them and what is not. So they get to be closer to themselves and closer to you all. Thank you in advance. Thank you for the reading. And thank you for the ways that you offer so much grace for how I get to move even as a reader. Ashe. So this is your reading for pile number 1, and I will pray at the start of pile number 2, so if you're also drawn to that reading, I'll see you very soon. Bye. Hello, if you are drawn into pile number 2, here is your reading. First, we're going to pray, and then we'll see what comes out for you. Divine alchemist, guardian angels, ancestors for the viewer's highest good, ancestors for my highest good, we thank you and we thank you and we invite you into this space and into this reading. Please protect me as I convey what is right and acceptable and appropriate. Please help me have the discernment for whatever is meant to be said. Help me to share what I'm meant to share and nothing more. Please allow for the viewer to receive all that they are meant to and nothing more. Help them to practice their discernment so that they can take what resonates and they can leave whatever doesn't. Thank you for this Scorpio energy that is coming through, that is here with us, and that is revealing all that is hidden and needs to be brought to the surface. Oh, please empower us to be able to withstand the triggers, the activations, the discomfort, the confusion, the pain, so that we can make it to the breakthroughs, the empowerment, the encouragement, the self-love, and the healing. Thank you in advance for this reading. Thank you in advance for all that y'all continue to do and all that y'all are capable of doing for each of us. And yeah, we're just so thankful. Ashe. All right. The energy is gaining momentum. I'm excited to find out alongside you which energy that may be. We have the Chariot. Ooh. We have the Hanged One. Ooh. And we have the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, all right. I'm excited. Can you tell? Because the first reading was very much like, look, this is what you gotta do. Stuff might be hard, it might be painful, but this one so far already is feeling like, let's say the reason. You know, we say that everything happens for a reason, and the reasons are always for our highest good. They're always for our healing. They're always for our betterment and our advancement in some way on this healing and ascension journey. And here, I'm getting excited because I can feel it. We have the Chariot, we have the Hanged One, we have the Queen of Pentacles, and that the energy is gaining momentum. So as you continue to, I'm going to take the reading with pile 1 and the reading with pile 2 to be a sense of cohesion between them. So whether you watched it or not, okay, so we're back. I'd set a timer while I was doing this reading because I like to time myself and I like to, you know, just see generally how long things are going to be. But I forgot that I'd set it. So it disrupted, it cut up the reading that we were doing. It offered in a different energy. So know too that this energy that's gaining momentum, it may feel like between the energy of pile 1, what you need to release, and how you need to now be your own first priority, and how you need to be, or you get to be more selfish with your energy. Know that as you do that, there's going to be this very clear, almost demarcation for you between what is for you, who can still be very close to you at this time, and where you are feeling called to be. Your environment may change at this time. We have the Chariot, so an energy on a motorcycle with a wand in their hand. They are not bound to any one place. They have the city behind them, the dust at their feet, and they're heading somewhere. They're heading somewhere as quickly as they want to go because they've released a lot of whatever baggage. They don't even have a backpack. You see? They might be going on a really long journey, but as we see in this card, they have everything they need, and they trust that everything they need is already with them to go on this journey, to go on this adventure. We have the Hanged One to offer a different perspective. Instead of it being selfish with your energy, just in the case that selfish is still feeling like a negative word for you or for the people around you, making yourself your first priority is actually such a deep act of self-love, and what it can produce is more authenticity in your relationships, more balance and more reciprocity in the areas that you move in. It can produce a lot less scattered energy within you if your first priority is you. You will only move on things if you feel emotionally balanced, or if you feel like it is right for you to do. You will stay, you might stay and deliberate on things a little longer because you're not quite sure. So this perspective is shifting a lot for you. And the Queen of Pentacles, I mean, what do we even need to say about this beautiful energy here, in the sense that there's going to be so much more balance between how you view yourself, and there are going to be parallels in what you see manifesting in your life. The more that you show deep appreciation and love for all of who you are, the more you will see it manifest tangibly in your life, whether that is through finances, whether that is through relationships, whether that is through the environments that you go into, whether that is travel, whether that is family dynamics. It could be anything. It could be anything that you are still in anticipation of, anything that you are still expectant of that is meant for your journey. But know that your self-love and your care for yourself is connected to all that you are desiring to manifest. Now we have the Ace of Sticks, the Five of Coins, and the Eight of Sticks. Alright, so in our last reading, the Five of Coins was in a different position. It was here. And what it was showing was it was time to release a lot of your fears and a lot of negativity around a sense and a fear of abandonment. Now we have the Five of Coins in relationship to the Hanged One, in relationship to a change of perspective. So some things that you might anticipate are a sense of difficulty or struggle or hard times coming to a close. You might feel a sense of renewed faith or optimism. You might be experiencing recovery financially or in terms of debt repayment. You might be feeling like you're feeling a little luckier, like things are actually going well for you instead of things are always going so horribly for you. So whatever the opposite of victimhood, victim mentality is, this may be the pivot and the newness that you're experiencing. It just may feel like there's an end to the hardship and there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And it may come a little quicker than you anticipate with this Scorpio new moon eclipse energy. Let's check in with your affirmation cards. I am not the mind. I am not the body. I am spirit. I am light. I fall to rise. I am not the emotion. I am not the thought. I am spirit. I am light. I fall to rise. Beautiful. Give freely. Support others. Give expecting nothing in return. This is a really good lesson. I think. I'm taking something from this as well, so I hope it's helpful for you too. Free to fly. The past is behind you. No road takes you back, like the chariot. Give thanks for all you've learned. Spread your wings. You have been learning an incredible amount. Viewer, I have too. And it's been hard and challenging and rewarding and interesting, and I love myself more as a result of it. I hope that you're feeling similarly, or that you're on your way to feeling a deeper sense of self-compassion and self-love, because you deserve your love. Just like I'm learning, I deserve mine. So let's give thanks for all that we're learning. Let's give thanks for this amazing reading. And I'll catch you in the future. Bye.